వెల్కమ్ టు రమేష్ సార్ స్టడీ సైన్స్. మరి ఈవీఎం ద్వారా ఎన్నికల నిర్వహణ సక్రమంగా నిర్వహించడానికి మరి ఉద్యోగులు అధికారులు మరి ఏం చేయాలనే దాని గురించి, ఏం చేయాలి ఏం చేయకూడదు, ఇవి డూస్ డోంట్స్ మరి ఇవన్నీ కూడా తెలుసుకుందాం. ఫస్ట్ ఎట్ డిస్పాచ్ సెంటర్ దగ్గర మనం చేయాల్సింది ఏంది అనేది ఫస్ట్ చూద్దాం. డూ ఎన్షూర్ దట్ యూ హ్యావ్ కలెక్టెడ్ ఆల్ పోలింగ్ మెటీరియల్ యాజ్ ప్రొవైడెడ్ ఇన్ ద లేటెస్ట్ ఎడిషన్ ఆఫ్ ప్రిసైడింగ్ ఆఫీసర్స్ హ్యాండ్బుక్. Do ensure that you have collected control unit, ballot unit and VVPAT pertaining to your polling station and match unit IDs written on address tags with the metallic plate barcode on the back side of each unit. Do switch off the control unit after checking that the battery is fully charged. Do check that the appropriate ballot paper is duly fixed on each ballot unit and is properly aligned under the ballot paper screen and thumb wheel switch has been set to the appropriate position. Check the paper roll lock knob in the back side of VVPAT is in the lock position and horizontal position to lock paper roll during transit. Do ensure that you have received all types of statutory and non-statutory forms and envelopes for using at polling station. Do clear any or all doubts regarding poll process of functioning of EVMs before movement from dispatch center to the assigned polling station. If any discrepancy is found, inform returning officer. మరి డోంట్స్ మరి చేయకూడదు ఏందో చూద్దాం. Don't take any EVM and VVPAT to any unauthorized place like residence, hotel, etc. Don't use vehicle other than vehicle provided by the returning officer for dispersal. Don't stay at any place other than designated place after the receiving of EVMs, VVPAT and other election material. Don't switch on and off the VVPAT as it will deplete the battery as well as paper roll causing problem during the poll. Don't connect ballot unit, control unit and VVPAT during dispersal. Don't remove any seal from ballot unit, control unit and VVPAT. Do not test VVPAT at the time of dispersal and before mock poll at the polling station. Arrangements at polling station వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత మరి చేయాల్సింది డూస్. All members of polling party and security personnel must be present at the polling station. Ensure that there is enough space for the voters to wait outside the polling station and form separate queues for male and female voters, senior citizens and pregnant women. Do ensure special arrangements for identification and application of ineligibility to pardonizing women electors if required. Ensure separate entry and exit for voters. Do place the ballot unit and VVPAT in voting compartment in such a way that no one can disturb the interconnecting cable and the cable is fully visible and its routing does not obstruct the movement of voters inside the polling station. Put the VVPAT lock unlock switch for paper roll in working vertical position before switching on the control unit. To maintain the secrecy of the ballot, ensure that polling officers and agents are seated in such a way that the ballot unit, VVPAT and the voter recording is vote by pressing button on ballot unit is not visible to them at all. Ensure 3 separate queues for PWD, senior citizens, male and female electors. Check the appointment letters of polling agents and explain to them the provisions of section 128 of the RP Act 1951. Issue them entry passes for their movement. Ensure that polling agents appointed at the polling station are enrolled in the voter list of that assembly constituency and have EPIC or any other government approved photo identity card. Ensure the following. A notice specifying the polling area and particulars of electors to be served by polling station is displayed outside the polling booth. A copy of list of the contesting candidates is Form 7A is displayed outside the polling station prominently. Voter facilitation posters and instructions are displayed on the outer wall near the entrance of the polling booth. A help desk voter assistance booth must be set up by BLO to provide necessary assistance to the electors. Ensure that all security personnel deployed at your polling station are present. Don'ts మరి చేయకూడని ఏంది ఇక్కడ పోలింగ్ స్టేషన్. Do not accept the hospitality of any contesting candidates, political parties and local people, etc. No cooking or lighting of fire for any purpose should be allowed inside the PS. No smoking is allowed inside the polling station. No arms should be carried inside the polling station. Do not allow mobile phone inside the booth, and even the cell phones of polling personnel should remain switched off in silent mode inside the polling booth. Do not have high wattage incandescent bulbs, tube light placed directly over or in front of the VVPAT, and also no window must be opened behind EVM and VVPAT. Do not expose the EVM and VVPAT to web camera or video cameras so as to maintain secrecy of voting. Do not appoint any person as polling officer in unforeseen situation where polling officer cannot do his duties, who is connected to the candidate or party. Don't have any photograph of any leader or symbol of political party or slogans related to elections displayed in the PS. No campaign material to be displayed in and around the booth and area of 100 meters around the PS. No political party agent should be seated in such a way inside the booth that they have a chance to see a voter recording his or vote. No political party member other than authorized persons to be allowed to sit inside the polling station or within a radius of 200 meters around it. Do not allow any photographer or person to take pictures of a voter casting his or her vote in the voting compartment. Do not allow any person other than voter and those authorities allowed by ECI to enter the polling booth. No person should be allowed within the polling station or within 100 meters thereof to wear badges, emblems, etc. bearing the names of candidates or political leaders and or their symbols or pictorial representation of any kind as it may amount to campaigning. Do not allow the security personnel posted at the entrance of polling station to verify the identity of electors as it is the duty of the polling personnel. No security jawan should be positioned inside the polling booth. Do not give any special treatment to any VIP or celebrity coming to cast vote. Next, during the mock poll, do's. Do go through the meaning of various displays which appear on the display panel of the control unit. Mock poll proceedings have to be videographed by authorized videographer if directed. For mock poll, the ballot unit and VVPAT should be placed in the voting compartment where a polling officer should be present along with polling agent to observe operations on ballot unit and paper slips printed on VVPAT. Put paper roll logs on VVPAT in vertical position after interconnection of ballot unit, control unit and VVPAT. At least 50 votes should be cast during mock poll in the presence of candidates agents. Manual record of votes casted should be maintained by the polling officer. Mock poll should be conducted with the polling agents voting at random for each of the contesting candidates including nota. Ascertain the mock poll result from control unit and compare with manual record of votes. Remove the mock poll print paper slips from VVPAT drop box and count the VVPAT printed paper slips in the presence of the polling agents and confirm that the results tally for each candidate. Press the clear button of control unit before the actual poll to clear the account of votes recorded during the mock poll. Empty drop box must be verified by the polling agents. Follow the procedure for sealing and storage of mock poll VVPAT paper slips. Seal the drop box of VVPAT with the thread and an address tag using presiding officer seal before the actual poll starts and obtain signatures of polling agents thereon. Seal the result section of the control unit with green paper seal, special tag and address tag and obtain signatures of polling agents. Prepare part 1 of the presiding officer's reports mock poll certificate and obtain signatures of polling agents thereon. Take the signatures of other polling officers in the part 1 of presiding officer's report that mock poll votes are erased from the control unit and mock poll VVPAT slips are removed from the VVPAT drop box before start of actual poll. At the end of mock poll at the polling station, Check and note the date and time shown in the display of the control unit and also the actual date and time as well as any discrepancy between the two, if any, mentioned in the mark poll certificate and also in presiding officer's diary. After completion of mark poll, intimate the mark poll status to returning officer through your sector officer. Micro observer, if appointed, must have participated in all the proceedings of the mark poll and his signature has to be obtained on part 1 the presiding officer's report mark poll certificate. Don'ts. Don't start mark poll if no or only one election agent is present. Wait for 15 minutes. Don't stop mark poll without casting at least 50 votes. Don't forget to cast at least one vote to each candidate button including nota during mark poll. Don't keep ballot unit, control unit and VVPAT on the table for mark poll. Keep ballot unit and VVPAT at voting compartment. Do not seal rear compartment of control unit with wax. Don't leave any mark poll slips inside the VVPAT slips compartment after completion of mark poll on poll day. Don't keep mark poll VVPAT slips unstamped in black envelope. Don't forget to tally EVM count with VVPAT slips count during mark poll. Don't forget to fill mark poll certificate part 1 of presiding officer reports and take signatures of polling agents. Don't forget to clear mark poll data from the CU before starting of actual poll. Don't start actual poll without sealing result section of control unit and drop box of VVPAT and taking signatures of polling agents. Commencement during the poll. Do's. Ensure that the polling starts at the scheduled time. Explain to all present the provisions of section 128 of the Representation of the People Act 1951 regarding maintenance of secrecy of voting and warn them of the penalty for any breach. Read out the declaration as per instruction in prescribed format. Take appropriate precautions regarding handling of indelible ink. Maintain visitor sheet and make entries of visitors as prescribed by the Commission. Intimate the status of commencement of poll to the returning officer through your sector officer. Before the first voter sign in Form 17A Register of Voters, the polling officer 1 shall check with the presiding officer and record in ink in Form 17A that total in the control unit checked and found to be 0. At regular intervals, check the ballot unit and VVPAT to ensure that the voter has not tampered with it in any manner. Check periodically the total for each control unit by pressing total button on CU to ensure that the voting is going as per the serial order of electors. Total should match with voter register Form 17A last serial number. Collect statistical information for completion of items of presiding officer's diary regarding polling at every 2 hours and sending it to RO through the specified channels. If any voter wants to know how to vote on EVM, explain him with the dummy ballot sheet. Don'ts. Do not enter the voting compartment in the absence of polling agents. Do not enter the voting compartment at the time of polling to explain to the illiterate voters about how to use EVM and cast their vote. Use cardboard dummy ballot unit for this purpose. PRO or other staff should not go frequently in the voting compartment as that may give scope for complaints. Don't operate the paper roll knob on VVPAT till the end of the poll. Don't conduct mock poll in case of replacement of only VVPAT during the actual poll. In case of replacement of entire set during poll, mock poll will be conducted by casting only one vote to each candidate including nota. In case of replacement of entire set during poll, don't forget to clear mock poll data from the control unit and VVPAT mark slips from VVPAT in mock poll. Don't hang any high illumination bulb over VVPAT at voting compartment. Don't switch on the control unit at the time of connection and disconnection of ballot unit, control unit and VVPAT. Don't forget to tape the interconnecting cable of BU VVPAT to the leg of the table with transparent adhesive tape. Don't forget to press both side latches of connector while disconnecting the cable. Don't switch off or switch on EVM during poll process. Don't forget pressing of close button of CU after completion of poll. Closing of the poll. Do's. Close the poll at the appointed hour even if it has started late. Give numbered slips with presiding officer's signature only to those electors who are in the queue at this hour, starting with the last person in the queue. Ensure that no additional person joined the queue after the appointed hour. Ensure that after the last voter has voted as per the above procedure, the close button is pressed on the control unit and part 3 of presiding officer's report has been prepared. Note the total number of votes recorded in the control unit in the item 6 of part 1 of form 17C. At the time of closure of poll, make a note of the poll and date and time displayed on the CU in the presiding officer's diary. Switch off CU and then disconnect the BU from VVPAT and VVPAT from the control unit. Remove VVPAT power pack in the presence of polling agents. After the close of poll, prepare under Rule 49A an account of votes recorded in the CU. Such account shall be prepared in part 1 of Form 17C in duplicate and copy thereof should be given to each polling agent. Don'ts. Do not forget to make a declaration at the close of poll in part 3, Annex 6 under Rule 49S regarding furnishing of copies of account of votes recorded to the polling agents. Don't forget to remove VVPAT power pack battery from VVPAT before sealing of VVPAT in its carrying case after completion of poll. Do not forget to make a presiding officer's report at the close of poll in part 4 and 5 in case of replacement of EVM during mock poll or during actual poll as the case may be. Don't forget to press the close button on CU at the close of poll. Don't forget to intimate the SORO about the close of poll. Sealing of EVM and VVPAT after the close of poll. Do's. Switch off the power in the control unit before disconnecting the ballot unit, the control unit and VVPAT. Ensure that the power pack of VVPAT has been removed. Paper slips contained in the drop box of the VVPAT are intact and the ballot unit, the control unit and VVPAT put back in their respective carrying cases. Ensure that each carrying case is sealed at both ends by passing a thread through the 2 holes provided for the purpose on both sides of the carrying case and putting thread seal with an address tag showing the particulars of the election, the PS and the unit contained therein and carrying the signature of presiding officer with date and seal on it. Ensure that the candidates or their polling agents are present and desirous of putting their seals shall also be allowed to do so. Ensure that the names of the candidates, polling agents who have affixed their seals on the carrying case of the ballot unit and control unit are noted in the declaration which PRO makes at the close of the poll. Don'ts. Do not use any pro forma for the PRO diary other than the one furnished. Do not forget to put correct address tag on the EVMs and VVPATs at the time of sealing. Do not put wax on the EVMs, VVPATs and their carrying cases at the time of sealing. Sealing of material after the close of poll. Do's. Seal election papers as per instruction in the presiding officer's handbook. Packing of statutory, non-statutory covers and election material to be done as per the instruction in presiding officer's handbook. Ensure that all election papers relating to the poll are sealed in accordance with the provision of Rule 49U. Ensure that each packet containing election papers is sealed with the seal of the presiding officer. Ensure that the candidates or their agents present at the PS are allowed to affix their seals on such packets if they so desire. Ensure that a copy of the Form 17C account of votes recorded has been provided to all polling agents. Ensure completion of presiding officer's diary. All the items should be filled. If any incident occurs at polling booths, it should be reported in diary. Fill presiding officer's additional report to be submitted to the observer in prescribed format. After completion of poll, when you are returning back to the collection center, you must take the designated vehicle and designated route. Deposit all the material EVM, VVPAT and 6 election papers without any delay at collection center counter wise as directed by the returning officer. Don'ts: do not delay deposition of all material at the collection center counters after reaching back. Do not leave the collection center where the material is being collected without depositing all the items and after obtaining a relieving certificate from authorized officer. Under any circumstance, you should not make any deviation from the designated route and vehicle. Special cases. Do's: any elector arriving at polling station to cast his vote who is either blind or physically infirm or cannot see symbol button on BU will be allowed to vote with the help of companion. Provide braille ballot paper to blind visually impaired voters if he or she desires. Before a person is allowed to act as companion, he or she must give a declaration in prescribed format and indelible ink will be applied on the middle finger of right hand. If right hand has already been marked with indelible ink, he shall not be permitted to act as a companion. If name of elector coming for voting is found in ASD list by the PO identifying the electors, he or she will be requested go to PRO who will complete his identification. If an elector is carrying unofficial identity slip containing names of contesting candidates and party and symbol, then instruct concerned polling agent to end such violation. In case of illiterate voter, the first polling officer should read out serial number of elector and ask elector to tell him her name to ascertain genuineness. If the elector is not able to establish his identity and found impersonating in place of another elector, the person should be handed over to the police with letter of complaint to SHO in prescribed format of PRO handbook. Don'ts: do not force any elector to vote if he decides not to vote. Do not allow any polling official to cast his vote in the PS unless they have been issued an EDC or PB as case may be. No person shall be permitted to act as a companion of more than one elector at any polling station on the same day. If right hand middle finger of authorized companion is already marked with indelible ink, such person not to be allowed to act as authorized companion for the concerned elector. Cases where an authorized companion merely led up to the voting compartment but did not enter shall not be included in Form 14A. No polling staff should act as a companion to a blind elector to cast vote on his behalf. No authorized companion should be allowed to stay inside the booth after the elector has voted. Okay, these are the some do's, don'ts while conducting election. Okay, thank you.
ఈ వీడియో కనుక మీకు నచ్చినట్లయితే లైక్, షేర్ మరియు కామెంట్ చేయండి. మరిన్ని వీడియోస్ కోసం మా ఛానల్ని సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసుకోండి.